Come on.
Wait, let's take a quick picture before.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you got this.
Thank you. All right, well, here we go. Good evening. Welcome. For those of you who may not know, my name is Rick Blangiardiʻs, and I have the privilege of serving as the 15th mayor, City and County of Honolulu. I'm going to tell you, we start on time at 6:30 for a couple of reasons. One, we like being punctual, but two, we're on live television tonight for those of you who haven't experienced one of our town halls. This is our 10th town hall of the year. We did 11 last year, so I guess this is our 21st. Each and every one, last year, this year, has always been different. And what makes it different, what makes it unique, what makes it inspiring for us is the people who attend. So I'm going to talk a little bit in a few minutes about how we operate this. This is your meeting. We came here tonight. You're going to meet our cabinet in a few minutes. It's about you. But we always start off with a pule, and I'm very proud tonight because it's the second time now. He opened up our season this year at Kapolei, but this was where Kahu. Dan Carrazza.
Mayor, it's an honor. Good evening, everybody. How are we? Yeah, we ready to come together? Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this time. We thank you for what you're doing. We thank you for our Mayor, Rick Blangiardiʻs. We thank you for all the directors, the staff members, constituents, elect, Waipahu, the church, the community, that you bring us here together to collaborate, to connect, to establish deeper relationships, to find resolutions in the areas there is no resolute in, Lord God. And so today, we just ask that we all come together with the wisdom, the knowledge, and above all, the understanding and the unity that we can resolve anything as long as we work together. So from this time forward, we just ask that we all just have eyes to see, ears to listen, ears to hear, and words to say. We thank you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray, and all of us together say, amen. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Blessing to have you here. All right, well, here we go. So in the beginning, we have some introductions, and tonight we seem to have more than a few people here. First of all, Senator Kurt Favela is here. Representative Elijah Pierrick is here. Representative Trish LaChica is here. We'll have you maybe come up in a minute because I know this is your home turf here. We'll give you a minute. We've got some council members coming here. I saw Council Member Matt Wire. Where's Matt? He was just here. Here he is. Councilmember Radiant Cordero is here. I want Radiant to come up. If you don't mind, Radiant. Matt, we're going to acknowledge our budget chair. We just had our budget. You might have read about it today in the sign. I have to tell you, doing a city budget is a 12-month experience. I mean, literally, after we get this thing all put to bed in just a couple of weeks here, although it's been approved by City Council, and Radiant was the budget chair, it'll start all over again because it's a $4.7 billion budget, and there's a lot of lines to that. Tremendous amount of work, countless hours. Radiant, we're so very proud of you. The floor is yours for a minute or two.
Thank you, everyone. I don't want to take up all of your time. I do want to thank you all for welcoming me to your district. I have the opportunity to represent a neighboring area from Aiea to Kapalama or Kalihi, and I couldn't do this alone. Of course, all the people you see here behind me had a proposed budget, but I had a team with one of your council members, Councilmember Matt Wire, who is my budget vice chair. So please give him a round of applause as well. This year, I took the opportunity to not only attend as many town halls as possible, but also take the opportunity to watch a lot of your neighborhood boards, because a lot of you go to your neighborhood boards, share concerns, and go to the town halls to share your concerns as well. And it was evident through not just those town halls and those discussions, but by your council members putting in their amendments, that our priorities, your council members and your city administration's priorities, were public safety and improving our livelihoods, as well as parks. So we put a lot of emphasis in that, and I really want to thank all of you being here, sharing your concerns, and that is the reason why we have a budget what we have right now. We look forward to hearing from you all, and I'm just here to just be an ear along with all of them. So mahalo for having me here, your neighbor from a following district. Mahalo.
Thank you, Radiant. Well done. All right, I promise, Trish LaChica, you get 60 seconds of unadulterated.
Thank you so much, Eric. Aloha and good evening, everybody. I'm Representative Trish LaChica, and I have the honor of just welcoming our mayor and his entire cabinet to our district today. It's not often, somebody who represents Mililani, Waipio, Gentry, and Coleridge, it's not often that we get to have folks, often we get skipped over and like everybody hosts at Mililani, right? And so I just wanted to ask each of you to just give Mayor for bringing a big warm hand for bringing his entire cabinet to our community. So just thank you so much. Just real quick, I just wanted to just emphasize how near and dear Mayor and MD and DMD and the rest of the cabinet are to my heart. Some of you don't know, but I actually had the pleasure of working directly under Mayor a couple years ago under the Office of Housing and Homelessness, and it was a very, very difficult job, and it still continues to be very difficult. But when Mayor, I got to experience his leadership and his priorities of bringing the entire team together, and I can fully say that public safety, our day-to-day living, and affordable housing continues to be the top priorities of his cabinet. And these are the things that I hear every day from each of you as I speak with you and engage with you in different events, as I go door to door. But really, I wanted to just emphasize that Mayor not only knows what it means for us and how it affects our day-to-day lives, but he's constantly challenging his cabinet and each of his team to really do better, because it's really about each of us living in our community to make this the best place to live and raise our family. So mahalo again, Mayor, for being here tonight.
Thank you, Tricia. Thank you for being here. All right, just real quick, is there any other elected official that I might have missed? I don't think so. If somebody comes, who's in? Corey Chan? Where's Corey? Corey, it's in the back. Sorry, I didn't see you. It's all right. Well, we're not all making speeches, but as you wander up here to the microphone, I guess I'm going to hand it over to you. I was just doing the introduction. Go, Corey. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for bringing your cabinet to Central Oahu, and thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is Corey Chan. I'm a State House representative, and really I'm here just to listen, because I think that's part of our job, and that's why everyone's here, is just to listen to the community's concerns. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you. All right, so I don't know how many of you have watched the town hall or been to one of them before. We didn't come here tonight to make speeches. You just heard a couple of speeches. We came here to answer questions, and that's the reason why we have our cabinet here. And so they're here as a resource, not only for tonight to maybe give you an immediate answer to some level, but also as a point of contact for you for follow-up. Part of this is for us is to listen and learn. We position these town halls as a journey of learning, and I can promise you it's been precisely that. It's been educational for us. In fact, as Radiant said a few moments ago, it also helped provide some real clarity and shaped our thinking with respect to priorities as we budgeted and where we were going to spend money. So it's a direct extension, reflection, if you will, of the voices we've heard all around the island. And for us, it's very meaningful. We're going to be on for 2 hours. We're off at 8:30. None of us will run out of here. And we will stay around if anybody didn't get a chance to ask a question, to certainly try to do that. But without any further ado, and then I'll talk about how we do this a little bit further, I want our cabinet to start introducing itself, and I think we'll start down here. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Tony Velasco. I'm with the Department of Information Technology. So we take care of all the city and county infrastructure, applications, and all of the motor vehicles, public safety, and et cetera. So if you have any questions, come see me, or you can ask over here. And thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lloyd Yonenaka. I am the Executive Secretary for the Neighborhood Commission. We oversee all the neighborhood boards. I know we got at least a few neighborhood board members here. Can you raise your hand? I know Kathleen's back there. Yeah, all right. Hi, Jeannie. Good. Can we give them a hand? They do a great job of reaching into the community to find out what you are thinking about. So thank you for your service.
Aloha. My name's Anton Krucky. I'm the Director of the Department of Community Services. We do all the human services activities for the city. So whether it be about Work Hawaii and job training, the elderly services that we have a division that does, we're the public housing authorities, so Section 8 vouchers. We also do all the HUD money that comes in that we give out to service providers, and we also manage the grants and aid program. In addition to that, the mayor's put the childhood resource coordinator in our department, and also homelessness is in our department. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Anton. Good evening, everyone. Gene Albano, Director and Chief Engineer of the Department of Facility Maintenance. Our department is responsible for the maintenance of the city-owned streets, sidewalks, streams, buildings, electrical systems. So if there is any concerns with any of those infrastructure or facilities, you know who to call, contact. I'm looking forward to any questions you may have this evening. Mahalo.
Aloha, good evening. My name is Matt Gonzer, and I serve as the Executive Director for the Mayor's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. And working with all of the departments, we are taking climate action to reduce the driver of climate change, but also taking those necessary steps to make ourselves more prepared for changes into the future.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Formby, and I'm the Managing Director. And I did want to take a second to introduce Steve Alm. Steve Alm is not a member of our cabinet. He partners with us all the time on crime. He is the prosecuting attorney for the City and County of Honolulu. And we're very happy to have Steve here tonight. I would say it was a mandate from the people that he did not get primaried in the election because he's done such a good job, and we've enjoyed working with him. But here's Steve Alm.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and I'll just tell you a couple of things we're working on that you may or may not be aware of. We're working really closely with HPD on weed and seed, and the scope of it is expanding so we can do more cases. And what that means is any felony gets, people hold them in custody, get them charged 48 hours later. But it also means all sorts of other things to help the communities get stronger. We're using the habitual property offender statute, so if you have a serial thief, we can elevate it from misdemeanors to felony. There's another bill to do the same thing with violent misdemeanors. I have to say, working with the mayor and the city council has been great. They have been very supportive. We were the lowest paid office in the past. I'm sure it had nothing to do with any of the problems there. But our starting salary has gone up $20,000. And we are now competitive with all the other government agencies and even with private practice because they can't get into court, even in these fancy law firms. They can't get into court. They can get into court with us. So we're really happy to do that. And we're going to try to work with the judiciary to make felony probation more effective. It's gotten away from quick consequences, and the only way to change people's behavior is to have swift and certain consequences. And we're going to make sure they do that. We also are working for the homeless that are lying in the street when they get arrested. Unless they deal with their mental health and drug problems, they are never going to stay off the street. So we set up a program so that when they get arrested and they're at OCCC, they get assessed within a couple weeks, and then we get them into a program right away because that gets them out of jail and the other bad influences there, but it also helps them get started on dealing with the mental health and drug issues.
So, Steve, I could listen to you all night, but these are quick introductions. So,
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. One more.
go ahead. You got it. All right. Okay.
Our deputy prosecutors are now going into the schools all over this area to talk to them about crime, to talk to them about things they can do for careers. So that includes Waianae Elementary, Lehoku Elementary in Waianae, Nanakuli Elementary, Waianae, Kapolei High School, Campbell High School. We've had teachers from Waipahu High School doing that law and justice path come to our office and spend time, and they're going to spread it out further. So I would ask for your support at the legislature in getting the 60 plus done and in fighting commercial legalization. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. You're the last guy I want to cut off, but it's just a little coaching because we're live TV. You got to stay here, okay? All right. This is first time with us tonight. Came out tonight. That's great. Krishna.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Krishna Jairam. I'm the Deputy Managing Director. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Aloha. My name is Roger Morton, and I'm the Director of Transportation Services for the city. We're the city's multimodal transit agency. We take care of the bus, the handy van, and the Skyline. We're also responsible for all the traffic signals on the island, all the complete streets, the bikeways, and those kind of things. Happy to be here tonight. Thank you for coming out.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I'm Roger Babcock, Director of the Department of Environmental Services. We take care of the city's wastes, including sewage and refuse. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. My name's Nola Miyasaki. I'm the Director of Human Resources, and we have the privilege of supporting and providing services to more than 10,000 employees across the city and county of Honolulu. And we are recruiting. We want to tell everybody what it's like to work for one of the best places to work in the state of Hawaii. We were named by Forbes magazine for several years in a row. So I have two of my best recruiters outside, Darcy and Tiana. So if you know anyone that's interested, we'd love to share what we have and all of our opportunities with you. And I also want to put in a plug for our friends from HPD. They're also in the house, they're outside, and they also have a lot of wonderful opportunities for committed people who want to keep our island safe. Thank you.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Donna Puna, DPP, or Department of Planning and Permitting. I'm a Pearl City resident, but I'm here a lot of weekends at Kanoelani Park and across the street for Little League Baseball. And Waipio is a formidable team, but thank you for having us today.
Good evening. My name is Ian Santi. I'm the Deputy Director of the Emergency Services Department. That's our ambulances, our city health services, and our core program.
Aloha. Oh, check. Hello. Aloha and good evening. I'm Deputy Chief Roddy Vanek of the Honolulu Police Department, and we take care of a little bit of everything. We also take care of you. That's our job. But like Nola said, we're definitely hiring. You don't only have to apply to be a police officer. We have a lot of civilian positions as well. If you're interested in science, we have the only accredited science lab in the entire Pacific. If you want to do some other things too, we have a lot of job openings. Please see our officers out front, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Aloha. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erwin Kawata. I'm the Deputy Manager at the Board of Water Supply. Thank you for having us.
How's it? My name is Haku Millis. I'm the Director for the Department of Design and Construction. We execute the capital improvement program for various city agencies. Thank you for being here.
Aloha. Aloha. Good evening. My name is Andy Kawano. I'm the Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. We worked on the budget with Budget Chair Cordero and Vice Chair Wire. We also oversee the real property tax program, the accounting system, process, and payroll and treasury. Look forward to answer your questions. Thank you for being here.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Walter. I'm the Deputy Director at the Department of Emergency Management. We coordinate with all of these agencies, with you in the community, to prepare for disasters and then coordinate the response and recovery when bad things do happen. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Kat Tashner. I'm the Director for the Department of Land Management. We protect, develop, and manage the city's land. Nice to see you all.
Aloha, my name is Amy Osselby. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Economic Revitalization, and right outside we have a table. If anyone owns or needs some help in starting up a small business, we're here to help. Thank you for having us.
Aloha everyone, my name is Jordana Ferrer. I'm the Early Childhood Resource Coordinator. My kuleana is to our littlest of littles, their ohana, and the professionals that care for them. Thank you so much for being here.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Ka'ili Trask O'Connell, and I'm the Executive Director of MOCA, which is the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts. Mahalo for having us here tonight.
Aloha, good evening. Craig Uchimura, Assistant Chief with Honolulu Fire Department. You guys pretty much know what we do. We respond to medical calls along with EMS and all the stuff that HPE doesn't do. We get called for all the rest of the stuff. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lori Kahikina, CEO and Executive Director of HART. We are responsible for constructing the rail project. Thank you.
Aloha and good evening. My name is Denise Iseri Matsubara, and I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Housing. Thank you so much for having us this evening.
Hi, aloha kako. My name is Kehau Pu'u. I'm the Deputy Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation, which includes all of our city parks, recreation facilities, the botanical gardens, community gardens, and oversight over all of our city and park trees. And we also run programs and events, and Summer Fun will be starting, I believe, next week, which is one of our biggest programs. Aloha.
Hi, good evening. Derek Maeshiro, Deputy Director for the Department of Customer Services. We do the DMV, driver's license, Satellite City Hall, and we have a public communication division as well. Thank you.
Good evening, Tracy Kubota, Deputy Director, Department of Enterprise Services. Good to see everybody here. We're in charge of auditoriums, which is the Blaisdell, the Waikiki Shell, 6 municipal golf courses, and the Honolulu Zoo. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tracy. All right. Tremendously talented group. I've had the privilege of working with these men and women for the last nearly 3.5 years. A great resource for you. We're missing 2 people tonight. You see a couple of chairs open. One, Sam Moku, our homeless coordinator, is actually meeting with John Mizuno in Chinatown at a neighborhood board meeting tonight. And we felt it important for them to be there because our work on homelessness is shifted to a whole different level in our partnership with the state. And we'll be sure to talk about that tonight. The other is Andy Sugg, our Chief of Staff, who is back in New England for his son's wedding on Saturday. So other than that, I can just tell you that there's a wealth of knowledge. More than that, there's a wealth of commitment behind here. And as I said earlier, we're not here to make speeches. We want to answer questions. Ryan Wilson, where's Ryan? He's right here. If you raise your hand, he'll bring the microphone to you. All I would ask is sort of the same little bit of coaching I did with Steve Arm, since we're on TV, just talk into the microphone, okay? All right, a couple of requests, all right? One, we know from experience, this is your community, this is where you live. If you're here tonight, it's an assumption, but you're passionate about where you live. And we know with that passion sometimes can perhaps come frustration over something that's been a long-standing problem or whatever. All we do is we ask you to be civil to us as we will be civil to you, okay? The other thing is what I said earlier about we're not here to make speeches. I don't want to be rude to anybody. I understand you need to set some context to a question, but I reserve the right to cut you off and say, please tell us the question, okay? We don't want to be rude, but we want to answer as many as possible. And the other thing is that we're not going to stay on one topic. If we've exhausted a topic, okay, that's it. I'm not going to have, we want to move on. We want a wide array, but hopefully for your satisfaction, when we get to a given topic, we will have addressed it sufficiently and you'll feel satisfied about that. We'll make sure we do that, okay? Does that sound fair? Other than that, off we go. So, first question, Kyle Dix.
Thank you. This is my 10th town hall, and it's been an adventure and very rewarding going to all these communities on Oahu. I've been a longtime resident here, and thank you, Mayor and team, for doing this. I've been asking a question, and nobody had the answer. So I'm glad you're here tonight, Mr. Olm. My question, in 2020, I ran for mayor, and my campaign manager was threatened with 4 citations, bogus citations, and those 4 bogus citations were dismissed under a homeless person's name the week before he went to court. And once I stumbled onto that, I started looking at some other cases, and to my rough estimate, in the last 4 years, approximately 100,000 cases have been dismissed under homeless people's names, and that accounts for approximately 25,000 man days, not man hours, of lost, basically worthless, lack of prosecution. Can you justify that for me, sir?
So your question specifically, Carl, is that, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, HPD can issue citations based on probable cause. We take the position that unless we can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, we're not going to go to court. So if we get a citation that it says Blaisdell Park and that's it, we cannot prove that. There's no way the officer in a trial would be able to remember what happened months ago in Blaisdell Park if there's no more information. If there's information, we'll prosecute the case. But without that, we can't do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, who's up next? Ma'am, right here. Oh, by the way, I meant to say this to you, and as evidenced by what Kyle just did, you can ask us anything, okay? You can ask us anything. There's no filter on it tonight. The only thing I would say to you in return is you may not like the answer you get, because we're going to be truthful with you. But as long as we have that agreement between us and we're telling you the truth, that's the way it goes. But please feel free to ask us anything you want. Go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Maureen Andrade, and I'm here on behalf of the Village Park Community Association, where I am the president there. I see Kat, and I haven't seen her in a while, and one of the questions that I have and that our community had was, we're really anxious to see what's going to happen at the park and ride, but until it starts, you know, whenever it's going to start, we have a problem of maintenance, and it's a mess. So I know when I spoke to you, they did go down, they cleaned it up, but we have a problem with the homeless going in there, people that dumped their tires. Matt Wire and Kelly actually went down and had part of it cleaned up also, because we have people parking their cars there that are not operable. And so what's happening in that area, in the park and ride, in where the boxcar was, it's a fire hazard now because it's overgrowth, you know, and there's tires and trash and...
Okay, so the question is?
We just want to know, number one, we're anxious to see it happen. Number two, if we can get that place cleaned up.
Okay.
Okay, so hi. So I will talk to as to the what's happening with it. So we met, and what the city is doing is we did some initial feasibility studies to figure out what we could put there, affordable housing and a child care facility. What we're working on now with the Office of Housing is working on a solicitation where we can partner with a developer to develop the property. It will come up faster than if the city does it itself. In the interim, while we're going through these studies, I'll pass the mic over to Jean for maintenance.
Thank you, Kat. We spoke earlier, and so we are very aware of the situation with the overgrowth at the park and ride. We are addressing it. Our roads department is looking to schedule that as soon as possible. Please give us some patience.
What does as soon as possible sound like, Janine?
Yeah. Well,
let's just put it out there tonight, okay?
I will try to get our roads department to make that a priority and do it within a month. We will target within a month.
Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gene. Hate to put you on the spot, man, but that's what this is about. Okay, who's next? All right, here we go. You, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Fred Burgess.
Greg or Craig?
Fred.
Fred,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I have a question. My question is, why is the trash not getting collected on a day of collection? Currently, right now, as we speak, there's 2 routes in Waianae that's not picked up since Thursday.
Okay.
My rubbish was left back a couple weeks ago, and it's been happening for the past couple months.
And
I
I'm
know
aware-
the answer. I know the answer. I want to see if you guys got the answer.
Okay.
And if you're aware of it.
I am aware of it. Roger, go ahead.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're in a situation where we're playing catch up with vehicles, collection vehicles, and there has been some press releases and a news story. So
Well, we couldn't buy vehicles for 3 years.
Yeah, so the
I think it's
situation-
one of the things that needs to be said.
Yeah.
We couldn't buy any trucks for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So
go ahead, Fred. But I'm not making any excuses. I'm going to give you
I'll go
straight
fast.
stuff.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But in the last administration, that's the problem we had. And how we solved that problem was we took it to a private contractor to repair it.
Okay.
And it was out in 1 to 2 days.
yeah, so right. So it's not so much about repair. There's partly a challenge with that, but basically the fleet has aged. We haven't gotten any new vehicles since 2020. So we're about 60 vehicles behind that are essentially aged out already, out of a fleet of 105. So we have a couple of vehicles on island now, finally. We're supposed to get another 10 or so this year, this calendar year, another 14 or so the following calendar year to kind of catch up. But it's still going to take us quite a while to catch up. So the fleet is aging out. That means it's a vicious circle of vehicles being old that need to be repaired. A shortage of vehicles means that vehicles get used for multiple routes on a given day. That ages them even faster. So this is a pandemic-related thing. So,
yeah. I mean, look, nobody's making excuses about COVID, but that's what happened on the ordering of the trucks. But what about the private contractor part that he said?
So we still have that contract, and so we have if AES cannot get to service it, we can send it to a private contractor. But we're working on several things in terms of we have a lease agreement that we've just about gotten procured, where we have a vendor, an offerer from the mainland who supposedly is going to be able to bring us some vehicles in. Unfortunately, side loaders, we're the only people in the state that use the side loader vehicles, which is the 3-cart program, and so we're the only purchaser of those type of equipment, as opposed to front loaders and rear loaders, which we also have, but also the private contractors have. So we're working on that.
Okay.
We hope that that's going to work, but otherwise, and we're working on getting vehicles wherever we can. So,
Fred, are you okay with that? You're nodding.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why trash is not getting collected? And
Well, I
I'll
do
come to the meeting
think-
and ask you.
Yeah, I do think we're at an all-time low with the trucks. I do,
Yeah.
as far as numbers in the fleet. One of the things that Dr. Babcock didn't say is that while I don't think we would have a shortage for drivers, we do have a shortage of mechanics, and that also is a problem, especially with an older fleet. So those things become very real when you can't even buy something new. So I'm not looking to make an excuse. I don't know if anybody's had this set of circumstances like we have right now. And we're trying to remedy it. We'll talk about the private contractors as well to augment. But look, the last thing we want to do, especially on the west side, is not pick up garbage. Okay? That's the last thing we want to
Well,
do.
there's 2 routes standing right now.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
So
So Sorry, Mayor. So,
Yes, sir.
as you know, the protocol, the practice is to leave the can out. We get to it as quickly as we can, but unfortunately, sometimes there are delays. And this is happening all over the island. So we just ask for patience, and we're working on everything we can do. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Fred. Thank you. Where's Ryan? Right. Coming to you, sir. We're going to get to everybody, so don't worry, you know.
Hi, my name is Willie Ray. I'm a member of Hawaii Volkswagen Club, and I'd like to know what's the status on a racetrack?
Okay, Willie. In the first half hour, we got the racetrack question. I'm going to turn to Mike Formby, Managing Director. We both can talk about this. This racetrack has become the cause celeb. You know, every district is different, but there are certain common denominators. And if there's one ultimate common denominator, it's a request about the racetrack. I hope you're going to like the answer. Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I don't know if you heard, but DHHL put out an RFP for a racetrack. Did you hear that? Yeah, so I want to clarify right up front that this week DHHL put out an RFP for a racetrack, potential racetrack on 139 acres at Barbers Point. And that RFP clearly is aimed at a different crowd than what our racetrack was aimed at, which is a community track for the community of racers on the island. And so
Michael,
the fact
excuse me
that
one second. That's the state. The state did that, okay? Just so you know. When he says DHHL, that's what he's talking about, Willie.
Yeah, DHHL. And so that's out on the street right now, but people have been asking us, does the city intend to go forward with this racetrack? And the answer is yes. And just this week, we got the deed from the Navy on the BRAC lands. And so we have a plan to execute it next week with Mayor, the Navy, the National Park Service. I think we'll probably have a ceremony. And then we're going to move as quickly as we can to do the planning, which is the environmental on one of the lots so that we can plan for a racetrack. We do have to do some core work first. We have to amend our utilization plan so that the National Park Service will let us build a racetrack. But the difference between our project and the DHHL project is one is a more formalized racing, probably Formula One, less than Formula One type cars, and ours is more of a community racetrack for the local racing community. So that's the difference between the two, but we're still moving forward.
So what time frame are we looking at?
So if we sign the deed this week, the planning usually takes about 1 year to 2 years to do that. There are some things on the lot that we're unaware of, like we think there may be asbestos and lead paint. So we have to go through the EIS process, but that planning process will be with the intention of putting a racetrack on it. And I'll tell you, there's a little bit of a shift right now in case you, just to be open and transparent. We originally had planned the racetrack on a parcel that was over 100 acres, and that parcel has PFAS on it. And when the Navy gave us that parcel now, when we signed the deed, there are restrictions on the use of that parcel. And one of the restrictions is you cannot grade the parcel, and you cannot do intrusive activity in the soil. So now, based on requests from the community, we're shifting the racetrack to a 23-acre parcel that has no PFAS on it and less restrictions. So hopefully that will enable us to go faster, because we have to go through the PFAS parcel. There's a Navy investigation on remediation. It's probably going to be 5 years plus. So we're shifting off that parcel to another parcel. Hope to get through the planning and design in 1 year to 2 years max.
I hope I'm still around.
Me too.
Willie, you're a young guy. And look, and I want to give Michael some props here. The Navy's been trying to give the city and county that land for over 20 years. The catalyst to doing it, what we figured out, other than we got this curveball on PFAS, took a lot of work. We took this all the way to the Secretary of the Navy, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Admiral Aguilino. We had more meetings at Indo-PACOM on this racetrack than you can possibly imagine. We've given it at the highest level. We've got it worked out. I think it's next week that I sign it. So it's coming, okay? I'd like to see it done well before Aloha Stadium, if I could just say that. All right. Okay, Scott.
Aloha, Mayor.
Hey, good
Tom
to see
from
you again.
Palisades.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. I have the same question I had back in April when we last spoke.
Yes, I remember.
The guardrails.
It was the Salt Lake Town Hall.
Yes, sir.
That's how memorable you are. Go ahead, ask me again.
So the guardrails up Komomai around Palisades, that sharp bend, still hasn't been repaired. Been working with Gene. Thank you very much for your help there, but time frame.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gene?
Well,
Who's going? Roger?
It's kind of a shared responsibility between three departments. Our department, sometimes Gene's department, sometimes the Department of Design and Construction, depending upon. Guardrails have got a lot more complicated over the last 10 years, and they a lot of the guardrail ones that have. Now, with respect to that one, I don't know whether, Gene, you have an update on that that's more current than mine, or? Yeah.
You want to use a
Okay, so the good news is that in order for Gene to do that, then he needs, he needs to get a work order from us, and then they schedule the work. That's where I understand it's at right now. I don't have a time frame, but I'll hand the mic over to Gene and put him on the spot again.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This one's tough for us to give a time frame. We have other priorities that are being done with respect to guardrails, but if you really want me to give you a swag, I will say 9 months. I said swag.
We look forward to it. 9 months. Representative Elijah Perrick.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. Just kind of piggybacking on the previous question, you referenced 9 months to his request. I'm an elected official, and I've requested speed bumps and potholes to be repaired in my district since I got elected in November of 2022, and not. Thank you for some of those requests being fulfilled, but some requests are a year and a half still pending.
Okay. You want about where Representative Perrick lives? He's been asking for potholes fixed and speed bumps. And where is that?
I've got a map and I've got a Word document that I emailed your department, and if you want afterwards I could.
Well, for the sake of the crowd, we're on television. Where are we talking about?
Okay, so on Kapuna Loop, a speed bump to be elongated. In Ho'opili, there's multiple roads that could have speed bumps, including Kaluokoko Street.
Okay.
So,
for what it's worth, excuse me, Roger, last week we were in Kahuku, and to our surprise, the whole conversation on speed bumps, if anybody watched the telecast, was if we could take them out, on the highway. There was so many. In fact, when Mike and I were driving back, we were counting them. So it's interesting to hear this. So in some cases, I guess, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some places too many, some places not enough. Roger.
Yeah. Mayor said it all. In some cases, there's too many. In some cases, there's not enough. I would just offer this, though, that speed bumps are a little more complicated than they are. They work better in low-speed environments than high-speed environments. They do require a lot of design. And one of the things that, since we have been putting in a lot of speed bumps, not just the city, but also the state has been putting in a lot, that I have many communities that want speed bumps. We put them in, and if they're in a residential neighborhood, the noise factor is, we then very quickly get requests to take them out, as the mayor said. So what we do is we will come and we will do an evaluation. We've done a lot in Kapuna Loop already with the improvements that we've made with some of the roundabouts and some of the other traffic calming measures. There's more ways to slow down people in communities than putting in speed bumps. Now, speed bumps definitely do slow people down, but sometimes you have to look at the associated costs, particularly the noise. Last week we had a fatality in Waimanalo with a motorcycle. And you can debate that motorcycle was going too fast or all of those things, but speed bumps are an effective strategy, but they are not the only strategy. When we come in, we'll take a look. They don't work on grades very well. They're not a good idea if there's curves on the road. But as I say, in low-speed environments, 25-mile-an-hour roads, They will be effective in doing it, and we will come out. We will take speed studies. We will take a look at accident history. We'll do an evaluation, and that's what our folks will do.
Thank you, Roy. I just want to cut away for 1 second because as I was listening to this, I meant to say this at the opening. This is a commercial announcement, okay? Because just prior to coming here, Mike and I had the privilege, and Scott Humber, in fact, I should introduce our communications team. Scott Humber, Director of Communications, Ryan Wilson, Brandy Heger, Ian Shoring over here. We happened to attend the opening up at the Stan Sheriff Center for the Pacific, for Cultural Pack Fest, Festpack rather. I'll tell you, I mean, we had to come here. It was about to be, and it's going to go on until probably 10 o'clock tonight just for the opening ceremonies, and we were with some of them yesterday for the next 10 days. If you get a chance, take some of this in. This is really special. I mean, very, very special. I think it's going to come off really well done. These countries, 27 of them, have come here well prepared to show who they are. And just a small sample we had, well, it wasn't small tonight because the Stan Sheriff was packed, but yesterday we were on the beach out of Kualoa at sunrise when we did the Vaka ceremony with the canoes coming in. And just the spontaneity on the out on the shore was incredible. So I think everything is published. It's out there. There's all kinds of events. And if you can, I think you'll find it. It's free to the public. Okay? There's no admission charge. And we're sponsoring it, the city and county, along with the state, and a lot of other people who've contributed to this. This is the first time. This is the 13th one. And we had to postpone it because of COVID. It's the first time it's ever been hosted in Hawaii. It really is very, very, very special. So with that, next question. Ma'am. Oh, okay. We'll go here first, and we'll come to you. Okay?
Good afternoon, George Grace, Kapolei, Waianae resident, Paradise Lua. Mike, when is this ceremony going to happen for the racetrack? Sorry, I had to come back to that. Yeah.
Hey, if there's anybody on our team used to being put on the spot, it's this guy. Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask Scott Humber because he's planning it, but what we're working around is the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Meredith Berger. She's coming into town, and her schedule is going to dictate when we do it. But you know the date? June 12th or June 14th. But when we know the date and time, we'll make it public. And if anybody wants to come out from the community and be there when Mayor signs the deed to accept these lands from the Navy, we invite you to come. So we'll let you know.
Is that ceremony going to be at the site?
No, I don't think it's going to be at the site. It's probably going to be at the mayor's office, but it depends on the secretary. It might be at the Navy base. I just don't know.
Okay. I was going to offer my facilities. I would roll in the best restroom trailer I got. and I got a portable stage also. So this is historical.
I like it.
This is historical for racing
yes,
enthusiasts.
we agree.
It's the first time the city is going to back something like this. I hope it's not a fib, man.
Hey, you've known me long enough, man. We're not up here fibbing to anybody.
Let's make it happen.
Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to Scott. You know, I'm going to go back into my past here. We like doing good television, and part of doing good television is where you do it, right? So if we could do it on location and make it pretty good, that'd be great. Ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for working tirelessly to better our lives here on Oahu.
You're welcome.
And to keep it short, please allow me to read it off the notes. My name is Yuko Barreto. I'm a longtime resident of Waipio. I'm a mother of an 8-year-old boy. I'm a member of the Patsy Mink Central Oahu Regional Park Advisory Committee, and I'm also part of the local mountain biking community. And context, as parents of kids who love to ride bicycles, we believe in advocating for and helping build safe places to ride bikes away from motor vehicles. And creating such a place will allow kids who don't have the opportunities to participate in club sports to play outside away from video games and TV because that's what they love, and create a community of interest and place where kids can feel a sense of belonging. And I feel that that's very important in our lives now. So my question is that knowing there have been some engagement from the mountain biking community to build pump tracks in some city parks, and I want to add pump tracks are like skateboard parks, but for bicycles with berms and jumps. And when they're built properly with asphalt, it can be a very inclusive facility. So anyone on anything with wheels can play there, including kids on scooters, rollerblades, roller skates are coming back, skateboards, and most importantly, wheelchairs. So there have been talks in the draft master plan for the Patsy Mink Park for the pump track. And my question is, it would be possible to start a conversation about how our vision can overlap with yours in the park, and what are your thoughts about city parks as a location for pump tracks and creating communities around them?
Okay, I have some thoughts on that too. It's a great question. Kehau, you're up already. Okay. Well, you can.
Hi, aloha. So yes, DPR is supportive of pump tracks, and as you've already shared, we support a pump track at Corp. It is in our master plan. Laura Thielen's also working with community members out in Waimanalo to try and plan for a track out there. What was some of the questions? So we're supportive of it. You know, it is recreation.
And I
what
guess
else did you ask?
About what are your thoughts about city parks as like a skateboards? It started at one place, skateboard park, and then it became like fixture for all the parks. So what are your thoughts of pump tracks evolving into something like that?
Well, as I said, we are supportive of them. I don't think we have any there's one out in Coco Head, and that was built by a community organization. We need to work on that one and fix it. So we are supportive. I think it would depend on location, capacity of the area. You know, definitely if it's a need, I think it's a need island-wide. You know, as we work at Coco Head, I think that'll be a good model for how we can construct and expand in other areas. As I said, and I think our regional park manager is here too, Jeannie, but we are supportive of it at Waipio, and then actively trying to work with community groups in Waimanalo as well.
And is the draft master plan finalized with that?
It is not final yet. It's been taking some time. I don't have a timeline though for when it will be finalized.
What must be happen to finalize that?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, what needs to happen to the current version to be finalized?
So we've been working with, I believe, Department of Design and Construction to finalize our plans. There's some things going on at Corp with ENV, expanding. You know, we want to replace that field that we lost that became a parking lot, the pump track. We're also trying to figure out how to utilize some work that's happening there to create more walking paths. I don't have a timeline, but know that we are actively working on it. We talk about it every month when we meet with our partner department, DDC. I will take your contact info though, and then keep you posted. So somebody will come, Nate Sirota back there, he'll come visit you and get some info from you so that we can follow up. Thank you.
So fundamentally, we're not adverse, and I'm all for kids being as safe as they possibly can. I'm also all for kids and people of all ages, really, quite honestly, to move, to get out and do things, you know. Once heard the expression, I'm sure everybody knows it, movement is medicine. You know, you got to move. And so we're big fans of that. Let me just anecdotally again, as I said, all town halls are different. I alluded to the fact that there are some common denominators. One of the things that's been absolutely consistent all last year, this year as well, is our parks, you know, and how people play, the accessibility, the cleanliness, everything you can possibly imagine. Not the least of which is, I'm actually like people asking us about tracks versus pickleball courts. But, you know, all of that has come up, and all of that is good. And so we don't have it's just a question, and Kehau will follow up with you of doing that. We're going to try to do that. We're actually looking at a couple skateboard parks. I know one in Wahiwa. Andy Suggs not here right now, the chief of staff. We've had him working on that, and as our follow-up. So it's a function of money, but it's also the way we spend money. And Radiant will tell you this because we just finished putting our budget together. One of the things we've been able to do now that we've been in office for 3.5 years is, where you write your checks is where your priorities are. And so one of the things I like a lot about this year's budget coming up is aligned with our overarching priorities. And so recreational opportunities are right up there. I promise you that. Okay? Another in the back. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mayor.
Hello.
I think you know me. My name is Tanya Tomhoon. I'm from the Kahalu district.
Good to see you, Tanya.
Thank you, Don, for your letter. There's actually a misunderstanding on your part. I'm not negating what had happened in the early 80s as far as transferring the Kaneohe as the second city to Kapolei. My issue with the city is that you're not addressing the error that the city made, in particular to my family's property. Okay. There are 2 existing homes on it. There was a current ordinance at that time that if you had any structures on your property, it would be, how shall I say it? It would not be included in the down zoning. And so that was the impetus for the former chief planner, Bob Stanfield, to write the letter on my family's behalf explaining how the city had made the error.
Right.
And
Tanya?
Yes.
I don't want to cut you off. I think this is really a personal matter, not so much a town hall meeting. Dawn can meet with you outside and talk with you now
Okay.
for further clarification, give you a one-on-one.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to mention something to you. Really, whoever undertakes the journey of dealing with the city, it is an arduous task because I've been bounced from one person to another person to a department. I'm honing in on something that's very important, Mayor.
Yes.
And it's a legal problem. I understand that.
I understand, but I think it's more of a personal matter.
No, it's not a personal matter. It is not a personal matter.
Well, since you're outside the district, you're talking about family assets and what the city made a mistake with respect to your property.
Yes.
That's a little bit, in my mind, a little personal for this town hall meeting. We want to talk
Okay,
about
can
the
you
issues.
explain to
in this
me
community.
why my representative is denying to reintroduce a resolution that Ikaika introduced? She let it expire without even letting me know. This is a public effort, okay? Getting back to your public, not a private, yeah. It's not private. I'm a public person too, as well as a private person. Now, how does a representative, how does a citizen or a resident of Hawaii follow the guidelines of the city, and every step of the way you get nuggets? The chief planner told me this. He was in that time doing everything, and he brought up the issues that the city faced with these errors. And you know what they said, the higher-ups, the authorities? We'll deal with it later.
You know, Tanya,
So I
that
am
was
the
not on
leader.
our watch.
I know it's not
let me
on
be
your
assertive
watch.
here, okay?
Yes.
It was not on our watch, all right? And I'm telling you again, nicely, take it outside.
Okay.
Because this is not an issue for this town hall,
All
okay?
right.
I'm being polite, I'm being respectful, but if you're going to talk about the sins of the past, the last 3.5 years, that's what our administration's been about, is making up for that arduous journey, okay? Thank you.
Mayor.
Next. No, I'm
Mayor-
done.
No,
I'm done.
No. Mayor,
I am
tell me-
done.
It's current.
Yes.
It's current.
I said you'll take it outside with Dawn. That's how we best answer this. When I say it's done, it's done. Okay? I'm being very respectful, Tanya.
I
We'll
understand
address
that.
your problem directly. We will.
I'm just afraid that I might get pushed back and pushed
Tanya,
back.
I'm not leaving tonight. I'll talk with you afterwards, but please step outside and talk with Dawn.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Mayor.
Hello.
For those who don't know, I think they should be told that you meet with Rick Hamada on Wednesday mornings, and I really had the courage to come tonight just because of the way you handle things on that radio show. I know you always say your department heads are waiting for you to get back to the office. They're already working on things, and sometimes they call in with answers. So this is my thing. If you want to worry about or solve your problem with speed bumps, just keep planting trees near between the sidewalk and the curb.
You know, it's so true.
Sorry.
I know, it is so true. I am not an arborist. I'm not even a,
Okay.
but I can tell you in the past, a lot of trees were planted with very aggressive root systems that have ripped up our streets.
Okay.
Do you know how many streets there are on the island of Oahu?
I'm
Take a
only
guess.
concerned about Gentry.
I know,
Yeah.
but just take a guess. How many streets?
How many streets?
Yeah, on Oahu.
On the island, streets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
8,000.
Okay, I was going to say.
And a lot of
4.
trees and a lot of ripped up roads.
Yeah.
It started a long time ago.
Okay.
But okay, go ahead.
All right. So the problem we have here in Gentry is we have trees that are planted, beautiful trees. The only people who like the trees are the ones who drive by them. The ones who live next to them want to cut them all down because of the leaves and damage. So we have a moss rock wall that extends from Cam Highway through the first block of Gentry. That moss rock wall, although it serves as the backyard of all those 18 homeowners, it was deeded over from Gentry, taken from the homeowners to Gentry for our responsibility to maintain it. I'm president of the Gentry Association.
So what is the question?
The question is, it kind of segues into a third one. I've been working with DUF and DFM, which initials I never even knew about until this whole thing started. They made it very clear they only had a job. They did their job. We're dealing with that. We're going to file a claim for the repairs to the wall, which has been bowed now because of the roots. I'm afraid to call DFM because we have another issue. We have an asphalt sidewalk that goes all around Gentry. It's a roller coaster. And that one is just a matter of time. I'm gonna look for you. Yeah, everybody calls Gentry because they think it's asphalt, got to be ours. It's not ours. It's a city sidewalk, but it's asphalt. And from Jack in the Box to Zippy's, it's a roller coaster or a gravel drive.
Okay.
It's dangerous. So I'm scared to call DFM, but now
Don't
tonight
be
I put a
afraid.
friendly face on it.
Gene's not a scary guy, I promise you that.
I just got put off so many times.
If you have dealt, excuse me, Mayor, if you have dealt with certain DFM staff, please let me know. We can discuss it further,
Okay.
and I will address.
Yeah,
if you
that's
feel like we're not being responsive, I take that very seriously. So my apologies
Okay.
if we are
That's
not.
why I'm not gonna
we are
mention
not-
any names,
No,
but
no, no,
those
no.
were-
We'll
yeah.
talk story.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
So I want thank you for acknowledging the show on Wednesdays.
It is
Just problem
great.
solving. That's what this job of being mayor is all about. That's what this team is all about. Why don't you get your contact information and everything directly to Gene? You've got a lot of witnesses here. Not only that, it's being seen live on TV. He will follow up.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'll give her my microphone.
Hello, thank you for being here this evening. I just wanted to thank we hear a lot of people complaining about departments not responding, and I want to thank one department, and I don't know which one it is, that does respond very well, and that's the one that picks up dead animals, which is not a pleasant task, but it's a very important task. And we call it in, and they respond. I swear that the animal's gone within an hour. And so whoever that is does a very good job.
I'm not even sure. I see Dr. Babcock on
us,
his feet,
yeah.
so it's you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay? It's nice to get a little prop every now and then. I appreciate that they do that, especially because I have a little puppy at home. I know what it's like to have an animal. Yeah. So, all right. Sir.
Thank you, Mayor, and all your different departments for being here. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Mel, resident here at Waipio Gentry, and my question regards bulky item pickup. Because my property is adjacent to some townhouses, and frequently this occurs at the turn of the year when everyone's doing their New Year's cleaning. when one item comes out by my sidewalk next to my fence, later that day, there's maybe 5 additional items there. So I don't know if it's falling on me to be responsible to call opala.org and arrange for bulk item pickup, or whether I should notify the community association for their help. But
Or you could take it back to your neighbor's house that gave it to you and say, thank you very much, we're returning it. I don't know who wants to answer. Roger, I'm being facetious.
Yeah, no, thanks. So that's not an uncommon situation, and sorry for that happens to you, because the way the bulky item collection works, and Lori started this project, thanks, Lori, it's very successful, the changeover to that program. So we'll only pick up items that are from the resident. So for you arrange the pickup, and when they come, they're only going to pick up the thing that you had put out. They're going to leave the other stuff. But our refuse inspectors will come, then they'll go talk to the association, and then the association can arrange for bulky item collection for any of the residents in that community, in that AOAO. So the correct thing to do is to call us. We'll send out an inspector. They'll go talk to them. Most of the time, they'll also come and pick up the items as well. But the correct thing to do is that their association is supposed to arrange with the city for the pickups. So
do you have the right number?
It will get picked up. Yeah.
Do you have the right number to call?
Yeah.
I do ask the townhouse maintenance people when I see them if they know who the property manager is, and this townhouse, they still say that they don't have a property manager. So I think might be a failure to let their residents know that they're supposed to contact opala.org to get their bulky items picked up.
Right. So it would be the association manager, the company that would be doing that for them, or their site manager, or if they have one. So so contact our department, and our refuse inspectors will go there and talk to them and make sure they have the right information.
Okay, thank you. I said at the outset that I would announce that if any other elected officials came in. We've been joined now by Senator Henry Aquino in the back. Senator, thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, next question.
My name is Bill Plum, and I've got a question. I'm really good about putting all the blue stuff in the blue trash can. Okay, does that go anywhere anymore? Am I really doing something good? I'm serious, because I hear a lot of things on the mainland where they're taking that stuff and it just ends up in a landfill anyway. Or are we burning it to H-Power here? Because that's outstanding if that's working. And also, does the commercial stuff go downtown? This is my office downtown. I try to save things in the blue trash can, in the blue container, and the cleaning people have no clue what that means. They have no clue. So you might want to send somebody around all the downtown offices. Anyway.
Okay, that's good. I know Roger's going to answer that. If I could just say one thing. Our Environmental Services Department, in fact, I couldn't help but notice all of you gave Lori Kaikina a really nice round of applause. What you should know, and I think Roger just said it, for the 8 years prior to her joining the rail project, she was the head of ENV. And Roger, Dr. Roger Babcock, who I could not be more proud of, is the head of it. But I can tell you, just earlier this week, we're at Sand Island doing a groundbreaking for the digesters that are being put in out there. It's really 21st century stuff. In fact, I've said oftentimes, if I could take all of you to Honolulu just to see the wastewater treatment plant, you'd feel really good about every dollar you spend in tax money. Honestly, for an island in the middle of the ocean, Oahu, world-class stuff. So it really is done well. So, Roger.
Yeah, so just so you know, everything that goes into the blue carts and green carts does get recycled. So blue carts we have a contractor, it all goes there, it's sorted, and everything gets recycled. We don't burn any of that stuff. There's always going to be some contamination. So contamination is pulled out, by the contractor, stuff they can't recycle, and that does either go to H-Power. It generally goes to H-Power. green carts all gets turned into compost by our contractor up in Wahiawa. So we don't allow stuff to be burned.
What about H-Power? He asked about H-Power.
H-Power? So commercial, so we only collect from residential. Commercial is the same. We have the same rules, so it would not be accepted at H-Power or the landfill. So H-Power, of course, is our waste energy facility, and converts the gray cart material into electricity and ash. Right now, ash goes to Waimanalo Gulch Sanitary Landfill, the only landfill on the island. That's our landfill. And we currently have in progress an ash recycling facility that it will be constructed. We're currently waiting to get our permits from the Department of Health. We have the building ready. We're just ready to build the facility. We make a product that can go into asphalt or concrete to be recycled. That'll reduce the amount of ash that has to go to landfill by at least 60%.
Yeah. And now that all the contracts have been signed, you're going to be hearing from us very soon about a further expansion on composting, in that many of the cardboard materials now have become compostable, in addition to food waste, which people typically put down their garbage disposals. We've done a lot of studies on this, and so we're going to be combining food waste with green waste and compostable materials and kind of shifting that around and developing a facility here in Oahu that's really 21st century that private developers just bid for and won, that involves a substantial investment. It'll be out in Wahiawa. I'm actually excited about that.
Yeah, so, and the target date for that to be operational is next April. So less than a year from now, should be able to put green waste and food waste in with the green waste in the green carts, as well as what we call manufactured compostable materials. So
it's going to be great
food packaging and stuff that's certified compostable.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. I've seen it done. You hold it in your hands. It's going to be really good, because it's not only good for our agriculture and our farmers, for our fields and stuff we've had to import in the past, or for that matter, any urban farmers themselves or your lawns or whatever. So it's one more effort on our part on a clean energy initiative, if you will, to be as self-reliant as possible. So I'm very excited about this. It's a good development. Scott.
Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm from Waipahu.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. I just want an update about this illegal fireworks. I know that on the news that they had got some from the ships or whatever.
Right.
But what about the personal people that's still playing and how they're getting it?
Yeah. I'm going to let Chief Vanek address it first. I want to talk a little bit about it as well. It is a really serious issue. Chief.
Thank you for your question. You know, fireworks is a really complex issue. What we found as HPD is when we're the tip of the spear and we try and take it on by ourselves, we're not successful at controlling it. What we have found success in is not the individual one-offs of trying to discourage people or cite people, or even if we need to arrest people who are doing it, but actually working with our partners, with the state, the Department of Law Enforcement, with our federal partners like the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearm, to actually stop it from coming in, or once it comes in, keep it from hitting the streets and keep it from being sold to people. Of course, the easiest way would be to just have a complete ban. I know the department supports that, the fire department supports that. Of course, that's something that probably the community will have to weigh in on, because there really are two sides to the issues. On one side, there's a lot of people who like to do it in a responsible way, of course. But there are other people who, especially if they have health issues, if they have animals, it could be a real nuisance, and we understand that too. So what I'd ask you to do is, and I cannot guarantee that we're always going to be able to address it, because even if we had every single officer only addressing fireworks, we still wouldn't be able to stop it with all of the violations going on. And we do have, not to say that it's not important, but we do have other things we need to do, like when people are assaulting people or if there's sexual assaults. I mean, those are priorities for us. Someone gets into an accident, obviously our officers need to be there. When someone calls 911 and they need our help, they expect an officer to be there right away. So we want to make sure that we address those issues when we can, but we also want to make sure that we prioritize what we need to. I hope that kind of answers your question. We'll continue to do what we need to do as a police department, but please know that we are out there with the best interests of the public. It's a super hard job, but our officers are really dedicated, and we want to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can to keep everyone in this room, your families, everyone safe. So thank you.
Another update. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. I also heard on the news about the stray cats and the roosters. Is anything being done with
Feral
that?
cats and the roosters,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of them. Who wants to approach that? Hey. Derek. Derek Mayashiro.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your question. So with stray cats, our department has a contract with the Humane Society, and they work with outreach groups, volunteers who will collect feral cats, bring them in to different providers for spay and neuter services, and then they're released back to the location where they were originally found. So it's the Humane Society, for philosophical reasons, don't believe in euthanasia. So that is our current method to reduce the feral cat population. You know, we do ask, we have a public campaign, and the Humane Society does too, for, cat owners to please keep your cats indoors, have them spay and neutered if, that's an option for them. So that's how we're addressing the cat situation, the feral cat situation. For chickens, so yes, there are a lot of feral chickens on the island now. We actually have a vendor that has two separate contracts with this particular vendor called Sandwich Isles. So for city property, the vendor will go out, we take complaints from the public every week. We send those locations to our vendor, and they will go out, set traps to capture the feral chickens. We also have a separate contract for private landowners. If you are a private landowner and you have feral chickens on your property, you can contact our vendor and they will provide a different variety of services. Either you can have a full service option. They will come out to your property, they will set up traps, inspect, check it daily, and remove any chickens that are captured. And that's at a discounted rate. The city subsidizes that cost.
Derek, who's the vendor?
The vendor is called Sandwich Isles. But if you contact us, we're more than happy to provide the location and, get your information to the vendor. You can email csd@honolulu.gov or complaints@honolulu.gov, and we can relay that information to the vendor. So in addition to that full service option, we also have a program where you can rent traps. So you can go down to our vendor's location, they're in Aiea, rent the trap for, again, a discounted price. The city does subsidize it. Put the trap on your property. They'll give you instructions. You can purchase some bait as well. And then once the chicken is captured, you can return the cage with the chicken, and they will dispose of it. And again, that's at a discounted price.
Thank you, Derek. If I could just add a perspective, and then Chief, I'm going to ask you to speak from HFD on the fireworks. I want to stay on the topic just a little bit more. We've been in office 3.5 years, and actually we came into office during the first of 3 unimaginable events, which was COVID. And we all lived through COVID, and now we're hearing that, it still hasn't gone away, and we're certainly dealing, as we discussed earlier tonight, on the garbage trucks or other kinds of things. The impact of that is lasting, okay? But that was an unimaginable event. The second unimaginable event in a short time was Red Hill. And the third unimaginable event, it's one thing to deal with unexpected things. We deal with that all day long. I'm talking unimaginable, was the wildfires in Lahaina. And when that happened in August, and we talked a lot about, drought, high brush, danger spots on Oahu, et cetera, we were really concerned. And we couldn't cut enough high grass or do other things or put out advisories. And so along came the holidays. And so we got together with HPD, with HFD, with our emergency services, everybody and anybody, even Steve On was a part of it, begging, pleading, cajoling people in light of what we all saw in Lahaina. What none of us would have imagined. I tell you, I wish to God it was only a bad dream, but the reality of it. And we did everything we could, including deploy as many police officers as we could on New Year's Eve. And I'll tell you, I was high in a building hoping not to see very many aerials, and I couldn't believe what I saw. You know, it was as if anything we said didn't matter. In fact, it felt at times this year that it was even worse or more than anything I'd ever seen before. That kind of irresponsibility in a community or by people is really hard to address from the standpoint that we don't have enough police. We don't have, I mean, it's just unconscionable. And it's not just fires, it's people's solar panels getting damaged. It's the fear of it. It's all of that stuff. And so it is a top-of-mind thing, but it really comes back down to the kind of personal responsibility. People get weird when I talk about that stuff. But quite honestly, you get behind the wheel of a car and you're drunk, that's a major violation. You set off stuff like that, I mean, the responsibility and the liability and what you can create, the damage you can do. So I would like to get a little bit more from the fire department, from their perspective, because they themselves also greatly challenged. And quite honestly, if I might say this on behalf of all of our first responders, their front line, they're also at danger. And it's not fair to them either. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. So from the HFD perspective, right after Lahaina, we've adjusted our response to wildland fire calls. So we're sending out additional apparatus to confirm brush fire calls so that we can get a better handle on it. When we have word of red flag warning days or high wind warning days, we're augmenting staffing. We're putting more staff on our trucks so that we can get the manpower. And it's primarily to the areas on the west side. We know over here on the side of the H2 is a bad area. Village Park's got bad areas. So those are the areas that we've done historical look backs as far as incident counts and how long those large brush fires last for and what areas. So we know the areas that are more prone. So we're being proactive in that way. After Lahaina, the mayor asked DM to formulate a work group. And what we've done was a lot of the departments here have been meeting together. And since then, with HECO's public safety power shut off, we've been meeting on a weekly basis to address that issue also. We've worked with the Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization, HWMO, and coordinated with large landowners. So large landowners that we can ask them to cut fire breaks and access points for the fire apparatus to get onto. So we've been taking these proactive measures, and we've been meeting on a regular basis for that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And Jenna, is there anything you want to add at all from? No? Okay. All right. Very resourceful. Look, after Lahaina, we had the Kanoelani fires. And even though that was high ground fire done mostly through the air, it was in lush green places, not even dry. And even though it never really directly threatened, it was a real challenge for our fire department. It took, all told, 40 days to put that out. What went on, though, and this is one of the things you should just offer you some assurance, and what makes it different on Oahu, is we had phenomenal cooperation with our military. HFD has 2 helicopters. Do we get the new one? We have 3 now, okay? But their capacity to drop water is about 100 gallons per drop. In fact, we were right up on the hill watching. I think Trish, she's not here now, we're up there watching that. At 100 gallons, you know, you're fighting it through the air. We had a combination of 7 Blackhawks and Chinooks from the military working literally around the clock, dropping 2,000 gallons at a time. That's the difference in our resources. I'm just telling you this for peace of mind. We don't want to deal with that. But, you know, if anything, we learned, and we can't prepare enough. I really appreciate the chief talking about that. But there was more than a wake-up call there. It was there's an attention to detail that we know we have to be ready. We have to be at our very best should something happen. We have a lot of resource here. The size of our fire department, our police department, our first responders. I just want to offer you that assurance as tax-paying citizens, okay? Senator, we'll get your microphone.
Mayor, I want to work with you, your administration, the police department, all of our city council. Next legislation session, we're going to put a ban on all aerials coming into the island. I'm going to put that bill out. I want you guys to support it.
I'll support
Because
that.
firecrackers and aerials is two different things. We grew up with firecrackers. It's the 10,000, 500, 40 pack. That's firecrackers. This is aerial bombs. Nobody should have a hold of that. That's illegal. So we should put a ban on all aerials. Hotels go back to doing fire knife dancing. We don't need aerial shows at the hotels for the tourists. Come with the fire knife dancing so we can give our local people jobs. Mayor, this is tight. How much resources you guys spend? You, the state, everything, right? All of this stuff we're spending. Right. Add up the money, Mayor. So now we're going to put our money, our mouth where our money is, or whatever you like call them, and we need to put an all-right ban on all aerial fireworks coming into this island, period. And that's how you solve the problem. Thank
Put
you,
the
Mayor.
ban up, we'll support it. Thank you, Senator. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I've been a member of the Waipio Gentry community for about 40 years. It's gotten a lot more crowded these days. And unfortunately, well, thank the people here. You guys are dedicated public servants, which I appreciate. But it's not a fair question. E-bikes are going through our community like speed racer.
Yeah.
And we have so many kupuna that walk. And one day, I see them in groups doing wheelies, some with helmets, some without helmets. Some don't look old
I
enough
agree.
to have a license.
I agree.
Yet they're riding this stuff.
Yep.
I don't want to see somebody die on an e-bike and he's a kid.
We don't want to see that, Steve, and I don't disagree with you.
So I
that
don't
there's
know
a
what the answer
there's
is.
a preponderance of them, and even more so, and not just in Waipio Gentry. Okay, Roger.
Sure. E-bikes, obviously a new technology. I don't think our laws have caught up to them yet, nor, so where are we, what is the laws right now? The law says that if you are under 15, you're not allowed to ride an e-bike. And I see what you see all the time. For me, that's a public education issue. We need to convince the parents that these are not toys. These are dangerous vehicles. We need to work with our partners at HPD. We need to have enforcement of that. I was really proud that I think it was Eva Middle School that has banned the e-bikes from campus, because a lot of the schools have enabled the e-bikes because they provided parking spaces and for them. But kids are getting injured, and it's a serious problem. We at the city, we're going to look at an ordinance to further restrict the e-bikes. Right now, there is a provision within the state transportation code, fairly new provision that governs, that defines e-bikes and governs them a little bit. As I say, a 15-year-old, if you're a minor, you have to have only someone who is not a minor. An adult has to be the one who registers the e-bike. But we need to convince parents that these are not these are not really things that are appropriate for younger children to ride. And we probably, we're looking at a few things. Maybe we would take another look at our helmet law, although there's some contradictions there, because a 16-year-old can ride a motorcycle without a helmet. But we're going to take a look at which roads that they could be operated on. Maybe we will take a rule that says a road that is faster than 25 miles an hour is not appropriate for an e-bike. And finally, we just need that enforcement when those wheelies, those kids are coming by doing the wheelies. A lot of them are underage, and they should not be on the road in the first place. I think our department, we're going to concentrate on just trying to do, in cooperation with State of Hawaii Department of Transportation, we're going to try to do some educational stuff that talks about what are the rules, so everybody knows what they are, and really just to emphasize.
No, I think we have to do a massive education on this, because
Absolutely.
it is out of control. And
Mr.
somebody
Morton.
is going to get seriously hurt, if not dead. Roger, while I have you up here, we do a little commercial announcement, because we just hit a milestone that we've downplayed, but you at least ought to be aware of it since you're here tonight. And I'm talking about
Millionth rider.
we just greeted our millionth rider on rail.
Yeah. So we have our I don't want to foreshadow it too much, but we're almost up to our 1-year anniversary with rail.
June 30th.
We started June 30th, so
Yeah.
we're almost there.
June 30th.
We did our calculation of when we would have our millionth ride taken. We figured it out. It was going to be on this particular day, which was last week, I think. We knew it. We figured out what hour it was, and we went and we just found just a perfect one. We picked somebody out that they're the millionth rider, and we're gonna put it together in a video. But I know when I came in today, I had a couple of kapuna that told me they love riding the Skyline. It is a great ride. It's going to get better because we're going to bring it.
Well, we'll let Lori talk about it. I want Lori to come up here. But I'll tell you right now, the decision to make to have interim operations, i.e. from East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium, was made a long time ago, once we got it ready. Our biggest challenge for us was to sort out some things and take nothing away, and I don't want to go off on any long dissertations, get it running and get the FTA back as a construction partner, agreeing to a revised plan that we did. But I knew that other than the efficiency of East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium, get there in 22 minutes, beautiful ride above the traffic, that was the greatest incentive. The next leg, and I want Lori to tell you about where we are and what's going to happen, is going to be really significant on ridership. We've downplayed the ridership. I do think it's great. We've got a millionth rider. We've cared more about the operational efficiency and effectiveness of this because there was a lot that went into it. But Lori, why don't you just give them a little preview of the next phase and where we're going to be at Middle Street by the... I don't want to take anything away from you. Good.
Well, thank you. But Mayor actually knows very well what the next status is. So segment 2, which will take us from the stadium to Middle Street, which includes Pearl Harbor and the airport, will be open late next year, Mayor. End of next year. I'm always afraid he's going to commit us earlier. So we actually are planning on...
As long as it's not December 31st.
December
I'll be okay.
3!
Yeah, I don't want to... My heart can't take that down to the last minute. Okay?
So we are planning on energizing the third rail for that second segment, meaning you will start to see trains pulled across that second segment, I'm hoping in the July timeframe. You're very much well aware we're doing construction in the Dillingham downtown corridor. We're moving the utilities out of the way to put the columns. And that segment, we're on procurement right now. The bids should be coming in July. And hopefully if the bids come in pretty close to our independent cost estimate, we want to award in August and give notice to proceed in September. So you will start to see in about a year after that award, columns start to go in. And that's going to take us the next segment from Middle Street to Kaka'ako. We have a temporary truncation. The goal is to get to Ala Moana, but it just depends how expensive those bids come in. If they come in low enough, in our contract, we have a bid additive to get to Ala Moana, because we do need to get to there, and the schedule for that is 2030, 2031.
Thank you, Lori. I just thought you ought to know that. We're making great progress with that. And with all due respect to everybody in this room, and I'm one of the older people in this room, if not the oldest, we're not really building it for us per se. This is for future generations. Okay, that's what's so exciting about, because this project will be transformative. You know, in the meantime, when we get through the 2 gates at Pearl and the airport, the ridership is going to jump significantly, because then it becomes a more meaningful experience for somebody riding. And so we're already talking to the FTA about the second phase, which includes getting to Ala Moana and deeper, much deeper to this part, to the west side. All right, so next question. Yes, ma'am. Well, right here, and then we'll come to you, ma'am.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
I have 2 thank yous and a question related to the second thank you. The first thank you is I tell everyone you're the only government official I know that brings his whole cabinet. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Because the top guys get to hear. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I went to your first
I'm very proud of these people. This
Good
being
job.
mayor thing is a team sport.
Good
Let me
job.
tell you, the knowledge here, the expertise, the commitment behind me is really something.
Good job. And these town hall meetings have been very fruitful. I went to one last year in Mililani where people came from Kahalu'u side
Yes.
and told you they really needed a swimming pool for our water polo stars. And they're getting a pool, right, at the park. That's what I heard. So thank you so much.
Well, we're trying to do the best we can. Thank you for
Thank you
that.
so much.
Thank you.
My second thank you is to the creative approach taken by the police department in helping us in Waipio Gentry with our e-bike riders going crazy in our parks. And in 2016, the city, at taxpayer expense, resurfaced so many parks. And we have wonderful pickleball parks right here, right up here, right next door. But the e-bike riders have gone crazy, and they've gouged the courts, scorched, and they're zipping around, and the kids are falling, you know, some get hit. And many, many minors, and many without helmets. So our concern was that there should be some consequences, thank you, Mr. Alm, for the registration, the registered owners of the bikes who put these kids on and let them go crazy.
Right. Well, look, I think that between Roger and Chief, and not to cut you out, I think they said this is an evolving thing that's happening. The thing that's really glaring is so many underage kids are on these. You know, that's parental responsibility as well, because kids usually at that age don't have enough money to do that. So we're just going to have to do it. That's why I said it picked up on what Roger said about an educational campaign, because it is pretty dangerous. I actually rode one to see how it feels.
Yeah.
Augie Telber and I went out, and I wanted to see what it was like. And I tell you, it's scary. You can go pretty fast in those things. And that's very real speed. You can easily get killed, you know. So,
well, what happened was the police department took a really creative approach. Thank you so much. They sent non-uniformed police officers to talk to the kids, and in some cases actually gave them a little, I don't know, ticket for the registration, which, you know, the kids questioned. They called their parents right away and said, of course, the parent is wondering if that was really a policeman. But thank you. So now we're not that bothered. We can play with people not zipping all around.
I promise you, do the best we can. Thank you.
But here's my question.
Yeah.
One of the things we don't know is the coordination between the state legislation for e-bike riders, the Department of Transportation, City Parks and Recreation, signage. Who has the ordinances and the rules and the definitions? The police can only enforce what the law is.
We're going to try to answer this in 1 minute. Go ahead, Roger.
We're going to work with the Honolulu City Council to put together a further ordinance that will be targeting just a few more restrictions on e-bikes to try to calm down the neighborhoods a little bit. We're committed to doing that.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, there was a question over here. Yes, right here. Scott's got the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Karen Luke. I'm
Hello,
not
Karen.
a public speaker. Good evening. Thank you for coming to our neighborhood and seriously making an effort to protect residents and prevent the further outmigration of voting, tax-paying residents by allowing hosted rentals to make ends meet as the cost of living continues to rise. I try to attend my neighborhood board meetings, and often there's a delay before answers, so I much appreciate your presence. I wanted to ask about the RICO Act and how we can change the Planning Commission, because at the end of 2020, an ordinance was signed into law for a few homeowners with exemptions to get DPP permits for short-term rentals. The director of DPP, who left days before his inspectors were indicted for bribery, then became the chair of the Planning Commission in 2021. As chair of the Planning Commission, he stopped those permits, but also left that position when the FBI raided the Planning Commission. Others on the Planning Commission are from the building trades, where hotels make sense. A controversial figure is a lobbyist who finally left the Engineers Stabilization Fund this year and is now chair of the Planning Commission.
So Karen, I appreciate all the history. Some of that is before us. What is your question?
What I'm asking is, how can we ensure the Planning Commission has representatives with backgrounds to help communities manage economic, social, environmental, population control, and other issues, not just the hotel's interests favoring the elite?
Okay, good question. Don, you want to take a shot at that? I'm not so sure.
So the process for adding new members to the Planning Commission, there are people that are put forth, I guess, by the administration, but there is some vetting that that is involved, as well as they go before the City Council, and the Council makes a decision. So there's a public hearing through which there's public input, testimony from anyone who wants to provide any kind of testimony as far as the capability of the person to serve in that position. So it's definitely a very publicly vetted process for planning commission members. And also, we often, there's a certain term for all the members. We are always open to any new potential candidates to potentially be part of the planning commission. So that is how they're filled, and that is the process. But if you have any more specific questions about, I think you're concerned about there being some type of bias in the commissioners, or yeah. So
Yes. There's a civil cause for acts performed as part of an ongoing increase in preference for hotels at the expense of smaller local businesses that's once thrived alongside a more diverse accommodation market. The civil cause of action is violation of federal statutes and my constitutional rights. The cozy relationship between officials and hotels is evidenced by recent changes in the ordinance, including awards, policy shifts, and appointments, while vacation rentals and smaller operators struggle with draconian regulations, limited support, and much scrutiny. The proposed and new ordinances place an unfair burden on the single group of tax-paying properties and has no effect on the out-of-state investors exploiting Hawaii's housing shortage by owning multiple legal short-term rentals that you addressed earlier this evening.
I want to talk
for
about that.
addressing
But
that.
okay, we just shifted from the planning commission to illegal
the
short-term
ordinance.
vacation rentals, right? So
To
it's a
the-
little, go ahead.
I'm sorry, so then you're speaking to how the ordinance was adopted, the short-term rental ordinance. It goes through the planning commission because it's part of the land use ordinance. So whenever there's a change to the land use ordinance, it goes through the planning commission for review, and then when they believe that it's worthy of moving on to the city council, it moves on through the city council. So then again, a different and new public process for the public to be involved in. And also, I think that if there are commissioners or even council members that are maybe conflicted based on their personal interests or business interests, they are required to voice that and perhaps recuse themselves from those processes. So as far as, I'm just speaking of the process, but if you do have specific concerns, I can look into it. But I'm just trying to put forth what
Well,
the process is.
if I may, Don and I just met today on short-term vacation rentals with Mike, and let me give you a little perspective, okay? It's a big issue, so I don't mind staying on it for a little bit because maybe it impacts everybody to some degree. So in 2019, before COVID, the math looked like this. The state received 10.6 million visitors. It brought in $18 billion in overall revenue, more than $2 billion in tax revenue. If COVID had not happened in March of 2020, all estimates lend themselves to the projection that we would have broke the 11 million mark in tourism. In 2019, of those 10.6 million visitors, 3 million stayed in illegal short-term vacation rentals, owned by people who were not paying taxes or other things, but it wasn't good. It really subordinated local people. It subordinated people who pay good money to have vacations here because we can't handle that many visitors. So we come into office with a mandate to do something about that. And COVID was a bit of a silver lining because the unimaginable happened there. Waikele shut down, everything shut down. And we went about trying to establish a piece of legislation knowing full well we had the housing crisis we had that we thought maybe we could put properties back. We got that legislation passed. But no law is absolute. So I'll tell you what we've learned since, because we've begun our enforcement. And we're about to take some very aggressive steps on enforcement. The two things that we did to try to make a consideration while we wanted to deal, and I'm going to give you some numbers about just how challenging the situation is and where these 3 million people stayed. Okay? First thing we wanted to do was that we wanted to create more possibilities for people who bought condominiums in resort zones. They could have people there. We'll expand that number of people, which we did, with the stipulation we wanted people to register because we are interested in the GET and TAT. That's a lucrative business in the resort zones. There are 3 resort zones, okay? Out here in Kapolei, in Turtle Bay, and certainly in Waikele. We actually expanded that. The other thing that we didn't know how to do at the time, but we're evolving in our thinking, was precisely what you're talking about, Karen, I believe. And that is that people who live hosted units in their house have been renting out a back room, okay? Should that be allowed? I actually come down on the side of that because I recognize it's earned income. The challenge we have, to give you a perspective, and I'm a little bit off on the math, but each night right now on Oahu, I'm not talking statewide, there are almost 11,500 rooms available for rent. This thing has become a phenomenon of computers. If you were to take a 400-room hotel, which is a large hotel, and subdivide that by the 11,500 nights, you'd have the equivalent of 28 hotels in the illegal short-term vacation rental business. Not good for this state, not good for our public, not good for anybody, not the least of which is the housing crisis we have. We need to do something about that. There are 25,000 illegal rentals on this island. Governor, recently, when we signed the law last month and I was there, talked about 90, there are 25,000 on Oahu. They are owned by a little bit more than 5,000 hosts, which means every host owns on average 5 illegal vacation rentals. Some only own 1 or 2. 50% of that ownership is off island. Another 25, 20, 30% own 20 or more short-term vacation. It's business. And we're trying to figure out how we can attack that. We don't want to punish the person, a hosted unit in their house. And we just talked today about the kind of software that's out there so we can cut that. But we've got to stop that other thing. And we're going to stop that other thing. We're not going to wholesale Hawaii anymore in the future. We had a real battle with the airlines coming in because they were flying people in here. And where were they going? So we're working on this. It's not a quick fix. We feel really comfortable about our new software. I just today talked with Derek Kawakami, the mayor of, I think Kauai has done a really good job, and I think Oahu had a chance a number of years ago when Kauai began doing what they were doing and it passed on it. But this was a real insidious thing. So we just got a recent good ruling, with the state. We're in a good position. We have leverage, and we're trying to figure it out now. But we know that we can get more housing back in the market for long term to help. We don't want to punish people who are running a nice little bed and breakfast in the back of their house and they live there, because that's a manageable thing, and the numbers aren't that big. And so we're not looking to punish anybody. But in this day and age, with computer technology being what it is, there's some old adages. Power is never given up without a fight, and money brings out the worst in people. And we're up against that, okay? And people have been proven to us, since we had our initial installment of technology to find them, so we could find them, that they get pretty clever. And we have to now outthink that. And that's a precarious situation to be in, because you always want to think the best in people. But this is not something we're going to give up on. So I just want you to know that. We're not looking to punish local people like that. We are looking to eliminate the people who own multiple properties who could give a damn. The average hotel rate right now is under $315. The average room rate for bed and breakfast, while the illegal short-term vacation rental, is actually higher now than the room rates in Waikele, because business has been soft. It's not good business. It's not good business. So we're trying to do something about that. And that's...
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And since you can count these illegal vacation rentals, I hope you can shut them down soon. Thank you.
Well, we want to. Thank you, Karen. We intend to do that. Look, they'll tell you. I got to be careful what I say because the police are in the room. I'm being facetious. We want to play hardball. This is not going to be easy. People are not going to give up money easily. Okay? We know that. and we're lining ourselves up to be as aggressive as we could possibly be. Okay?
Promise I'm not going to talk about fireworks.
Okay.
I get one request from HPD, but first I wanted to just bring something to your attention. Not sure if you know it or not. I'm pretty sure you do. But you know, all this controversy over rail, that's Laurie's. That is Laurie's glory. And you're letting this heart board wreck that for her. It's not nice. I'm glad to see that you gave her your support. But Mr. Mayor, she came in and kicked ass.
She's had my support for a long time, and she knows that.
Yeah, she kicked ass. She met your deadline. Not the heart board. She did that. She did that. So she deserves that glory. That's hers. Don't take that away from her.
Well, if
She
you read my
belongs
comments
there.
in the paper, and Lori and I know our relationship.
She
we're not
belongs
doing
there.
that.
Since we're talking about Laurie,
You're talking about Lori. Are you okay with this? He's talking about you.
my toll
did you ask her
contract.
permission to get up here and talk about her? I mean, you know.
My toll contract is coming up on a year now that we
Okay.
never solved nothing. Can we get Laurie to help us with this?
Yeah, yeah.
So we
okay.
can move it along.
That's.
It'll help me a lot.
Yeah.
It'll help the community a lot.
I know. And look, there have been big meetings on that, and we'll talk about I don't have the immediate answer right now.
I know
but I
you-
will
I
tell
know
you
you're
that
busy.
I know. I don't know if Mike wants to comment, but they've been meeting on the tow contracts.
I'll be
It's a big
patient.
issue.
But my request to the chief is, you know, I'm George Grace from Pinky Toes. We do large, heavy recoveries. The biggest problem we get is with officers trying to rush us off the scene. And that's a big problem for us. You know, we're trained to do the cleanup. We're trained to do the recovery. We're not trained to battle policemen. If there was a class, I would take them. Guarantee I'd take that. But we cannot compromise our safety to speed something up. Sometimes it takes time to do what we got to do, especially on H2 and H3, where we're working on inclines. So you drop fluid, 100 gallons of fuel, hydraulic oil, it goes downhill. We got to go clean all that up, right? So we get rushed off the job every time. And there's some heated, not arguments, but heated discussions we had where I had to tell the police officer, please leave. Send somebody else. You know, we get hit with, you know, we shorthanded. I got it. There's a scene that we need to be at. There's a shooting. Okay, I got it. Still, we're not going to make us speed it up. You know,
Right.
I used to think firemen all run when they do what they got to do. No, they're safe. It's not like on TV. It's the same for us. Every time we make one mistake, somebody going to get hurt.
No,
And we cannot have that. So please, if you can somehow get it to them, cut us some slack. Whether it's us big accidents or the small ones, we're there for a reason, right? We don't want to get hurt. We don't want to compromise safety. So,
no,
if you
point
can,
well taken, George. And I would tell you, and through you over the last several years, I mean, I've really learned to appreciate, and I never thought about it before, just how dangerous it is to be a tow truck driver.
yeah,
That's a
There's
dangerous job.
There's a tow truck driver dies in the United States every week.
Wow.
Every week he dies.
Yeah,
That's not including the ones that got hurt.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
60 tow truck
No, so I
drivers will die
promise
a
you,
year.
we're taking it seriously. Nobody's trying to kick that down the road. As you know, this has been a long-standing, very complicated problem.
Yes.
So, you know, this job, I said a little while earlier, not only being mayor, for all of us, it's about problem solving, understanding the problems, and then developing the solutions. It's much more complex than I thought it would be, but we're going to get there. We're not kicking it down the road, George.
No,
And
I
besides
got it.
that, you've got my cell number. You know where I live. You're all okay. I mean,
I'm
what,
very-
what more can I do?
I'm very, very patient, but I had more hair last year.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
You know what, George? As far as I look,
Laurie,
I wouldn't
stay
mind
strong.
having that.
Stay
Yeah.
strong, Larry.
All right. Thank you, George. We got about 6 to 7 more minutes, so let's go. Down here.
Hi, thank you. I have two questions.
What is your name?
Lorene, and I
Lorene.
live in Waipio Gentry. I wanted to go back to that court question about pickleball courts. You mentioned pickleball. Are they
Yeah.
planning, is there any plan to put a facility at Corp?
Here.
At Corp?
No. Not there. No.
Okay.
Sorry. I told you you might not like the answers, but if K-House says no,
There's
that doesn't mean
space, there's land.
Yeah, you know, it doesning mean we couldn't look at that, and I don't want to, whatever, but right now, that's not part of the plan. But I have to tell you, been around sports my whole life. I have never seen a sport take off like pickleball. This has been the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been wonderful. As I said earlier, people should move, all ages. and then get out and play. It's good for you. So, well, you know,
You should
we
consider it, because remember the Pacific Rim tournament that was here was so popular?
yes.
Well attended?
Yes.
People from all over the world came.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. It's okay.
Second question.
2 questions. No to the pickleball courts and
Is there a solar farm across the freeway off on the other side of H2?
is there a what?
Solar farm.
Is there a solar farm on H2? Who would know? Yeah, probably.
Who does it support?
Do you know about that,
Are
Don?
you, let's see, on the Diamond
Opposite
Head
Honda.
side of H2,
Yes.
I believe there might be. Yeah, yeah. On the, let's see, I'm trying to think.
Who does it
Is
support?
it the AES one, the big one that's in partnership with UH West Oahu? That one? No? Oh, across from Costco over here. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Waiava.
Okay, so if there is, what's the question or concern?
Who does it who does it belong to, and who does it support?
Okay. Who does it belong to? Who does it support? We'll have to get back to you on
Yeah,
that.
I'm not sure who the developer is, but
Fred, do you know the developer? Kamehameha School. You know, when in doubt, say Kamehameha Schools, because the odds are you are right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you know, sir? Oh, you have a question? So look, we'll get your contact. We'll find out. If it's right by Costco, we'll find out and we'll get back to you. Okay? We have a few more minutes. Anybody else? You had your hand up or you over here? Karen? We spent a lot of time with you, Karen.
Thank you for your patience. Could you help us have the Navy move the Pu'uloa rifle range out of the residential area? We're very concerned about lead contamination, noise.
So the question is, can we
possibility
have
of-
the Navy move the rifle range out of the Pu'uloa district? Wow. I don't know. I tell you right now, I just was with Admiral Paparo last night, who just took over Indo-PACOM. Mike and I will be dealing with the Navy because we're going through the deeds and stuff. I promise you, Karen, we'll bring that up. But I don't want to hold, but we'll bring it up and find out. Let's get your contact information. We'll get back to you. We'll tell you what they told us. How's that? And we'll be gentle, because they may not be gentle with us. Ma'am, right here. Somebody give me a signal when we're close to 8:30, because we'll go off the air. What do we got? 4 minutes. Okay. No, lights on.
Hi, I'm Patricia. I'm from the neighborhood.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi. My question is that at the Mark Takai Olympic Pool,
Yes.
the water cannons broke years ago. And since the city and county could not afford to replace them, the club, the parents, and the kids replaced them. And being that the pool is huge, they ordered 220 volt, but the pool is 110. So my question is, can you please make that adjustment? I'm not an electrician, so I've been accused of thinking things are simple, but apparently it's been almost a year, and I guess it's not easy.
You know, honestly, it doesn't sound like it should be hard. Who's going to take this
help
on?
me?
Kehao.
Yeah.
I thought Gene would have his hand up in a heartbeat.
Gene's going to help us.
Yeah, because, yeah.
He's going to help our department. We don't have electricians in DPR.
Yeah, but he does.
I'm an electrical engineer by profession, that's why. So Mayor got me out of the private
He's
sector.
a very famous electrical engineer. We were recruiting this guy,
But-
and maybe specifically for this project. Go ahead.
But that seems to be just a separate circuit. I'm fairly certain that the service to the pool has the higher voltage. So we just need to change the circuit so that you have the correct operating voltage. So we'll talk story afterwards.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good question. You know, we like it when we can actually do something quickly. You know, I mean, it really is. It's a feel-good for us, too. You know, and I would have never known that. You know, that's why I like doing the radio show. You've heard me say it many times. People call up with, "Can you fix the baseball mound?" I mean, we wouldn't know. you know? Okay, Ryan. Sir.
Aloha, Mayor.
Aloha.
I was supposed to finish one test and inspection plan due tomorrow, but I decided to take a break, and as I'm driving home to go I live right around the corner, and I heard on the radio station you're going to be here. And I'm here because if it was only me here tonight, I wanted to thank you, because you're only as good as the people that surround you. And as a young man, I used to laugh and watch people stand in line so their kids can go summer fun at Manoa. And I found myself for the last 5 years staying at 2 o'clock in the morning at Crestview, so my kids would guarantee. So thank you, Lay. 35 years ago, my TA was Tracy.
Wow.
But I'm telling you, Mayor, the last time I saw you was with Joe Moore's son up at Mililani. You remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were watching the helicopters load the water.
All I make sure is you put in that money for the double engine second helicopter, right?
We did, Chief, right? We did.
That Captain Robert Thurston did the best briefing in front Councilwoman Val Okimoto. You was there. She's a councilwoman. I remember her right there.
Radiant's representing everybody.
Radiant. And I say this, Mayor.
Yes.
Because the Maui mayor is my cousin from Makena.
Okay.
And I went up there, you know why? Because we had people like Ray Level that used to be state civil defense communications, people that we trust in the community.
Yeah.
So like your father, Uncle Robbie Elm, that's your father, right? Is that your father, Uncle Robbie? No. Yeah, Robin? Yeah? Old timer? So Mayor?
Yes.
I thank you. So
You're welcome.
I am here because my children come to this school. I see your communications director was
He's
there.
telling me we got to wind it down.
Yeah, you go. That's the guy. You got
That's
to
all
watch
right.
out.
I appreciate
But
your
I'm
comments.
saying, Mayor, my comment is, tell me you're going to put in that money for that double engine helicopter. No.
What?
And you know why?
It's being built right now. We did it.
No, make sure.
We got to
You know
go
why?
off the air.
You know, I don't care. I don't want to be on the air. You know why?
Why?
Because even though I'm in support, my best friend Lionel Kamara, another Maui boy like me.
We talked about
Kalani
Lionel.
Hau,
Yes.
But you know what? Mr. Fromby, how are you? Last time you and I sitting on a plane for the super ferry. Mayor, thank you. I
You're
came.
welcome.
Aloha.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. You've been a great crowd. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We're going to be here for a little bit. We wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Thank you.